It's Colton, and I'm back from vacation. Me and Heather enjoyed our Mount Rainier trip out in Washington, and it was beautiful, guys. I've never been to a place like it. And, traveling and vacations is new to me. I grew up more on the poor side than the let's take family trip side of life. But here's a little montage, like a little clip montage of stuff we did. Just some cool stuff, maybe some cool pictures, and I hope you guys enjoy. There you go. Cruising Seattle, seeing the troll, seeing the gum wall, seeing the fish market. We see Tipsoo Lake in the distance. That means Nachos Loop Peak Trail is on its way to being over. Sheer size of these trees is crazy. Update number 2. Finally hit dirt. It's been an easy hike. Crazy. There's a marmot here. There's a marmot on the loose. Cheers. Made it out here to Skyline Loop Trail. We are 1,600 feet in elevation up from where we started. We walked 3 miles. Make sure to stay hydrated out there. So like I said, it was beautiful. Me and Heather, since we've been together, we've done quite a bit of traveling. We've been to Tennessee, we've been to Daniel Boone in Kentucky, we've been to Colorado, Japan, we've been to Washington, and hopefully many, many more places. Definitely a lot of campsites and stuff throughout the state of Indiana where we're from. It was a really good time. I ended up, they're really known for their huckleberry, so I ended up getting my mom some of this huckleberry coffee. I know Heather got some as well for us to try, some for her grandma and stuff like that. And she tried some huckleberry ice cream that was really delicious. I'm not a big strawberry milk or like strawberry ice cream or blueberry ice cream. I'm not a big berry fan when it comes to that. I like berries by themselves. Like a blackberry is delicious, but I've never been a fan of blackberry flavored ice cream or something like that. But overall, it was a fantastic time. Now, while we were gone, we had some pretty crazy weather pop up here in Indiana where we're from. I'm talking tornadoes. I'm talking 120 mile an hour wind. The president actually announced that he's doing a state of emergency. We've been in a state of emergency. The state and the counties been in a state of emergency for the last week. We've had the National Guard here. We have multiple different agencies that have to do with electrical just because people are still down. We're going on 7, 8, 9 days. People have no electricity. And some people, it's going to be even longer for them. So obviously keep everybody in your prayers, your thoughts, and everything. Everybody that I personally know, got out pretty much scot free. There's some damage, there's some stuff that we're gonna have to pick up for sure. But other than being out of power and losing some food in the refrigerator, no one's injured, anything like that. But it was pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that me and Heather take vacation and we come back and everything's fine on our end. I will say that. Our house had power when we got back home. Our fridge is empty, obviously. Thank goodness Sam was here to empty that out for us and take care of our cats throughout the period of the blackout. We were out of power, I think, for 4 or 5 days. But like I said, we were on vacation for it. So we took vacation almost at like a perfect time. It worked out for us. I'm back at work. Work's going good. Hope work's going good for you guys as well. But with the power outage, we weren't as behind as I thought. They kicked ass and they kept up with everything while I was gone, which is awesome. I know it's not a water, it's a Pepsi. But listen, I don't drink water 24/7. I used to drink pop like it wasn't going to be around one day, especially right after I quit drinking. And now I rarely drink it. While we were on vacation, I had 2 bottles of Coca-Cola in the mini fridge at the hotel for a week. And I got to the point where I was like, God, I have to drink these or I'm going to leave them behind. It's like a sweet treat, And if anyone tells you not to enjoy a sweet treat every now and then, tell them to screw themselves. We already don't drink alcohol, or at least I don't drink alcohol. So if I want a Pepsi, I'm going to have a Pepsi. If I want plastic in my water, I'm going to have plastic in my water. Shut up. You either, it's crazy. You got like 2 spectrums of people out there. It's like you're either super health conscious, right? Oh my God. Like I had people comment to my thing, oh, a big healthy dose of plastic in the morning. Because a lot of my bottled water chugs are with bottled water. Because that's what's provided at work. And the water out of my sink here at home isn't the best for drinking either. And I don't have some thousands of dollar like water osmosis machine down there that's turning my water into something. I don't got $1,000 fridge that's got a big water filter on it. So, bottled water is kind of my best option other than spending a crap ton of money on water and cans, right? But, they go, oh, you got a big healthy dose of plastic in the morning. And here's the thing, man. I don't drink. I used to drink and do a lot of cocaine, and I don't do either of those 2 things anymore. So I find myself, it's hard to believe that I'm at least not healthier than I was, And shut the fuck up. God damn, those people that are, oh, plastic this, but I get it, bro. Plastic's a problem, dude. But you tell me how I'm going to get around it. Plastics and everything. It's wrapped in shit. Everything comes in plastic. It's very useful. Like Ziplocs are useful. I don't know what to fucking tell you. I think there's a lot worse shit in this world than plastic. I get that it's a problem. And one day it might be one of the worst problems. But as of right now, I'm doing pretty damn good. You know what I mean? So that bottle of water in the morning, it's not making me feel like shit. And I used to drink in the morning, That made me feel like shit. So, I just find that funny. It's like, no matter what, there's always someone out there that's like, oh, you can do this better. Or well, why not do this? No one out there is just kind of like, good for you, or you know what, you're in a good spot, keep going. There's either, and there is encouraging people. The community that we've been building here on the Unexpected Adventure is 520 subs. By the way, getting 500 subscribers while I'm on vacation. Shout out to each and every one of you guys, because that's beautiful. It's been a really big goal of mine ever since I was a little kid to build a community and do all that. And I tried. I gave it my all, and it never worked out for me. And I'm just happy to see that positivity and being open and honest, being a real person and being genuine is still, still something that people love to see, especially in a world where there's AI running rampant and everybody's trying to pick out everybody's bad flaw. And I'll tell you anything, for the most part, I've told you guys my worst things about me. I've lied, I've stolen, I've cheated, I've cheated people out of shit. I've done a lot of cocaine. I've done a lot of drinking to mask feelings and problems. I've talked about it. And I think there's like this sense of humanity that some people, like, I don't know, they feel it's like someone does one bad thing, and I get it. Some things are really bad. I get that, but people act like people can't change or become a different person. No offense. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And I don't think in the next 5 years I'll be the same person I am sitting here right now. And the reason is because, throughout life, with all the stuff that's already happened to me, I can remember right now when I was 16 and I felt like life was fucking a breeze. It was so boring, and I didn't appreciate it for how boring and mundane it was. You know what I mean? All I wanted to do was grow up, and now you look back and you're like, damn, man, if I could go back, I'd really enjoy going through school again. And like, actually, I do a lot of things different, and sometimes you can get stuck in that. I try not to, Nostalgia is something that us as humans, that's a feeling that we don't share with anybody else. There's no ape, no other animal on this planet shares that feeling of nostalgia. Like when you sit down and you click on the TV. When we were in Washington, they had cable. Now talk about nostalgia, because I haven't had cable since I lived with my dad. I don't know, freshman year of high school. And I didn't even use it then. Still, I was already watching YouTube. I was addicted to YouTube, watching my YouTube creators, my content. What I wanted to watch. It was at my fingertips. You know what I mean? So fuck cable, right? And then we get to Washington. I flip it through the channels, and there wasn't a lot of them. You could tell. Obviously we're pretty remote where we're at, and but it's like all the I went to FX, and it was just movie after movie, and I was just sitting there like, man, dude, I remember this. And then the commercials come on, and then I figured out there's the last button. So then I got Adult Swim up, and I got FX up. And I'm bebopping back and forth, and it's like, man, it felt nostalgic. You get stuck in that too, but it's good to feel it. I feel like if you don't feel it, you're kind of a serial killer, like not having emotions. Because like, no offense, thinking about my childhood and stuff throughout all the bad, and I think there was a lot of bad, even though I don't talk about my childhood as it being bad. I think for the most part, I have a pretty positive outlook on what I went through in my life. Oh, excuse me, kind of burnt my Pepsi. Getting me. Yeah, so where was I? So for the most part, I feel like I carry, or try, let me rephrase that. I try to carry the best, most positive outlook on life that I can. Obviously, I've been through stuff. Obviously, I get down. I will say, like, and you've heard me talk about my father before. It was a very traumatic way to watch my dad die, pass on. It wasn't good, and it was really hard for me to believe that he was like passing on in this peaceful, afterlife, especially how brutal the way he passed away in front of me. It's getting electrocuted to death like that. It doesn't look good. It doesn't, and when that memory pops into my head, it's good that I don't know. It's like good that I remember it, but then it like kills me, right? It kills my whole mood. And then some days it kills my whole day. I can't get out of it. And that's understandable. But it's been 3 years, and obviously it's a very traumatic way. It's a very something traumatic I went through, but you just can't get stuck in it. And I always emphasize that. And like going on these vacations, me and my dad always talked about going west together. He never went west. My dad was an Air Force guy. He's went all over the world, but he never went to the western part of the United States, like on vacation, and got to like visit, hang out, and do what he wanted to do. So, and I mean, it was like once a year. He would call me and he'd go, I'm going to sell the property. I go, really? Remember, he's like fourth generation Nelson on this property. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Well, what are you going to do? You coming back up here? You go, no, I think I'm going to get an RV, drive out west. And we'd always get talking. He'd laugh. You quit your job. Come be my driver. Because my dad, he broke neck and back. He had 8 vertebrae, broke down his neck and back from a motorcycle accident. And he always talked about going to see the Grand Canyon and driving out through the Rockies and seeing all the mountains and the deserts. And, it was always something that I always pictured as an adult I'd take my dad to go do one day. And, my dad got taken from me right when I was getting sober. I pretty much went down there to start my sobriety journey. And, I was in no place to take my dad on vacation. Nor would I have been for the next couple years, probably. Like now I could, a couple years later. But I was still young. I was still like middle. I wasn't even 25. I don't think yet. And I've already lost everything I owned. I've already got a drug addiction. I'm already drinking too much. So there was a lot. That obviously, looking back on, I regret. And again, that's why I say, you can't get stuck into these things. And that's why I always emphasize talking. Like if you are going through something, talk to somebody, whether it's your girlfriend or your mom, your friends, somebody. There's somebody out there that will talk to you. Go to therapy. I personally don't like therapists. Go to AA, go to NA, go to Al-Anon. Maybe you don't have a drug problem, but maybe you grew up with somebody who had a drug or an alcohol problem, like your father or your brother or your close cousin or your mother. There's, like Al-Anon, my mom went because it helped her because of my brother. My brother, to this day, is doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. Fuck his kids, fuck his family, fuck everybody. He's like homeless off in Tennessee. I don't really know. I love my brother to death. I want nothing but the best for him. But one thing I've learned through my journey is you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, right? And if you're looking for help, if you're looking to talk to somebody, if you're looking to figure stuff out, there's plenty of ways to do it. If you're not, there's even more ways to do that. Excuses kill an idea. For sure. You can kill a good thing too. You shouldn't let excuses run your life. Before I admitted that I had a problem with drinking, I was just making excuses for why I was drinking. I wasn't actually looking at why I was drinking. I was just making every excuse why it's this problem or that problem, but it was never my problem. And it takes realizing that. But enough on sad shit, I know this is a sober cast, so we talk about sobriety a lot. Talk about my sobriety a lot. And there's something I wanted to talk to you guys about. In your sobriety, and I know I got some people that are more new into sobriety, and that's great. So I want you to answer this question too. How comfortable are you being around somebody that's having a beer? Can you be around them? Or while they're drinking it, does it make your mind itch? You know what I mean? And that's fine. I do think in sobriety, at some point, you do got to become comfortable with the idea of being around people that are drinking or smoking weed or doing something like that, because your sobriety isn't their sobriety. You know what I mean? And you can't rely on everyone else to change their lives to change your life. So you have to You have to be the one that wants the change, and you have to be the one to implement it. Yes, people can be there for you, obviously, but for instance, Heather is not sober. She drinks. Now, she doesn't drink all the time. She doesn't drink really ever. But obviously, when we're out on vacation, she wants to have a beer from the area, and I want nothing more than for her to do that. It doesn't make me itch. I've talked about this a little bit in my my casino video, going to casinos. Because when you go to places that are, most places, especially once you turn 21, maybe before 21 you don't realize it, but a lot of adults drink at a lot of places. The movie theater, the mall, fucking restaurants, pretty much everywhere you go out, bowling, like the arcade, there's an alcohol option there for adults everywhere, most places. So for me, I couldn't have fun unless I was drinking, because I'm an alcoholic. Now I can have fun and I don't need to drink. And for me, when I go out, it doesn't make me, I don't want to drink. There was for sure a time at the beginning of my sobriety when going out with people, watching them get hammered, would do nothing but make me want to drink with them, because I want to join in, I want to partake. But if you just look at what's going on, it's really not that fun. They can't drive home. They don't really know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're saying stupid shit half the time, or they get to where they're slurring their language, or they get to that point where they're like, I'm not even drunk. I'm not even drunk. Me? I'm not even drunk, man. Like that. That's the worst drunk right there. Because they're too drunk, but they think they're not. You know what I mean? Like, and you see all this and you go, man, was it that fun actually? Or does it just make, I get it is. It probably is. To the people that can drink, kudos to you, right? And that's what you need to be able to say. When you're out and about, and I've talked to this with people in person, like at the casino or at a party or something, and they're like, well, it doesn't bother you, we're drinking? And I'm like, no. You know why? Because here's the thing. Because I get to leave here and I get to go get whatever food I want, and I get to drive Heather home. I know she's safe, right? She's not drinking and driving. I'm the ultimate DD, it's my title. Not really, but and I'm not going to feel bad. Like, I'm not going to go home and get a pass out in my bed butt naked with all the lights on. I'm not going to go home and fall asleep with chicken nuggets in the oven. I'm not going to wake up in the morning with the house smelling like fucking burnt fucking pizza bagels, and this is all real shit that I've done before, okay? So, drinking, doing coke, There was one time my mom knocked on the door and she's like, hey, there's just a gun laying in your yard. It was just a fucking full-on pistol laying in the yard. Justin's pistol was just laying in the front yard for everybody to see. She's seen it in the car when she pulled up to the house. Just pistol in the yard. Truck was parked like half cocked in the driveway. We were passed the fuck out. We got plastered that night. Did we have fun? Yeah. Looking back on it, doesn't seem that cool. Like, a kid could have found that gun, something bad could have happened, we could have killed somebody driving home. There's all these things, that go into it, and you just don't realize it till after. For most people, they don't have to realize it, right? Like, for Heather, she doesn't have to realize it because she's not an alcoholic. She's not drinking when she wakes up. She's not drinking till when she goes to bed. She's not hiding stuff. There's a difference, and that's why I'm an alcoholic and you're not. I don't know. For each person, it's different. All I can really say is, if you are uncomfortable, don't put yourself in that situation. That's the best advice I can give you. Now, obviously, that situation can arise, especially out in public. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, you just got to remember that you can just walk away. You don't have to be there. You know what I mean? And if they say what's wrong, just tell them. Be honest. I'm going to be honest, man. I was just getting uncomfortable, and I was having stupid thoughts about drinking and stuff, and I just had to get out of there. And, you know, being honest and being open like that, especially to your close friends and stuff, that's going to help you proceed with good thoughts. Like, you're going to feel good about yourself. You know what? I stood up for myself. I got out of there. I didn't make a stupid decision. That's fucking awesome. And you know what? Being proud of yourself, for me at the beginning of sobriety, was number one, because I had no pride in myself anymore. I had nothing to be proud of anymore, and I destroyed my self-image to myself. And little battles like that, little wins, can make the day. But don't worry. I do want to say, ending this podcast, the Washington videos are coming. Just on one SD card, I got 250 videos, not including day 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are all filed on Heather's laptop. So we have a lot of content to go through. I don't want to just put out some shitty stuff. So obviously we're going to go back to the sober cast, popping off almost every day. What's up? And maybe some live streams while I'm getting this stuff edited, with some little editing live streams. And yeah. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys are getting out there. I hope you're having your own unexpected adventures. I hope you're staying healthy, stay happy, and stay hydrated. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace out. A-Time down. Yeah.